Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Miele Rayon, and I noticed that I often do not say my name. So, in case you wonder how I pronounce my name, that's how you say it. And in today's video, we're still going to be talking about the introvert series, how to thrive or how to struggle as an introverted creator, whether that's an influencer or you're like an independent artist. And so, for this topic, I want to talk about how you can sometimes lean a bit too much into your introverted nature sometimes, with some classic examples I've seen on the screen, and how that can prevent you from actually growing further or blowing opportunities. Now, some of the people I'm going to speak on, it wasn't necessarily their introvertedness that disrupted, I guess, their fame, but I think they do possess like more introverted personas, at least 2 out of 3. So, excuse me. So, yeah, getting into it, we're gonna start with Doja Cat. So, I'm gonna do a couple of videos on Doja Cat because she's very interesting, and yeah, I just think it hasn't been discussed enough on these internet streets. So, we're gonna be speaking about the classic and famous controversy. She's had a few, but in a now famous Threads post, and I'm just reading off of my notes, she told a fan asking her to say she loved her fans, I don't know, because I don't even know you. God. Okay. The reason why I say this is like a classic introvert thing to say, because let's say you are a celebrity who's like super extroverted. And in my definition of extrovert that I'm going to apply to this situation, it's where you feed off of the energy of others, like you get excited rather than drained, rather than interacting with others. Now, of course, there's more at play going on here. Probably her record label was stressing her out, making her do more press runs and, tours and concerts. And she was probably felt like she was overexerting herself, probably was experiencing burnout, not trying to make any excuses for why she said what she said. It's just, I know that, again, there's more at play than just being an introvert as to why she made that statement. But I do think it also is quite an introverted thing just to be like, you know what, I don't actually know you. So why would I love you? But as a fan, of course, of someone that you spend hours watching, maybe you spend hours engaging on her streams where you didn't know that she was being forced to do this. You thought she was doing this out of genuine and pure love. And I think another thing that makes it a bit harder for some fans to accept the sentiment made by Doja Cat here is it breaks the illusion and spell that you have of an artist. If I go to my GP, I'm not going to expect them to tell me that they love me. Like, I'm just going to expect them to do their job. Whereas when you are a consumer of an artist, even though they are just doing their job, you perceive that their job is a labor of love. Like, you're like, well, you must be doing this because you love this, like this is your dream. Whether Doja Cat likes it or not, the way people perceived her, at least at that time, is that she was doing this because she genuinely fell in love with the craft. And that's just the stigma that's associated with being an artist. You're doing this for love. That's why we also have the struggling artist, trope that's well known. It doesn't matter if I get paid. I'm doing this because I just love to be expressive. I just love to make music. I love to dance. I love to make jokes. I have to do this no matter what. And so when you now tell me someone who's essentially like a patron of your art, might be a small patron, might be thousands and millions of us, but I'm still a patron in some way, shape, or form, that no, actually, I don't really love this. I don't love you, meaning I don't appreciate the engagement you have towards me, my personal brand. That it goes against the illusion that the person has of what it means to be an artist, and then it also breaks the relationship that that person now has with you. And so I'm just going to go into a few more examples as to how, I guess, caring more about your inner world, which is definitely um, an introverted personality, rather than also thinking about how to balance the inner world with the outer persona, can can negatively harm, sorry, your personal brand. So the rapper No Name, she infamously threatened to retire because she didn't like the fact that her fan base was mostly white. And honestly, I've never listened to this rapper, but I'm guessing, like, I don't know, I'm guessing she had like some woke songs or whatever. I know she probably falls within the brand of conscious rappers. So this is the lady here. And you know what's crazy? I might have heard her name a few times before. I don't think I've heard her name since that whole debacle. And I saw she had a couple more controversial opinions. Like, if you're an introvert, or like, I don't know if her, in her case, I don't know if it's her being an introvert, but sometimes you really do have to manage like what stays within your own world and what actually gets projected outwards. Like, what does the world needs to know? Um, but yeah, she didn't like the fact that her fan base was predominantly white, and she let her fan base know. So she broke the illusion of loving the fans. And then thirdly, we have Daniel Caesar. So in March 2019, singer Daniel Caesar caused a significant controversy and backlash by challenging his fans to cancel him during an Instagram live session. You know what? Are you seeing a pattern here? Actually, wait. This one was a Fred's post, but I feel like Doja Cat has said some problematic things on her Instagram live, but regardless, these people that don't really come across as being the most extroverted really be struggling with their social media presence. Like, the media training is not there. Maybe these people just, some people should not be online because they mess things up. But anyways, going back to the story of Daniel Caesar, so he said, and I remember this, he was really taunting his fans, go on then, cancel me. I don't know how to do his accent, but yeah. This incident arose when he defended an influencer, Yes Jules. Again, I don't even know who she is. Like, was this really something worth fighting over? Anyways, he defended influencer Yes Jules, who had received backlash for wearing a shirt with a racial slur and for making comments that many found disrespectful towards black women. And so, in his case now, I would argue that he probably had quite a mixed fan base, but as a sole artist, you are going to pull a lot of black people as your fans. Again, it just kind of comes with the territory. I know No Name wishes that happened in her case. So now you are defending someone who has publicly offended your fan base, or a large majority of your fan base, or at least half, which is still, still a big portion of your fan base, and you are now displaying that you essentially do not have love or care for your fan base because you are not holding their feelings in high regard. That's just that is so detrimental to a personal brand. Again, even if you actually thought that privately, some things just should remain private. And I think the biggest thing here is that all of them exhibit this feeling of, well, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you, sympathy. I don't owe you kindness. I am who I am. Take me as I am. And that gets thrown around a lot, even outside of like the influencer or artist sphere by some people. It's like, I am who I am, take me as I am. And yes, being authentic is good. I always preach about being authentic on this page and channel. So if you haven't subscribed, first of all, you should subscribe so you can keep up with all the videos I've posted. But this notion of not needing to owe anyone anything is, I'm going to say, is very much anti-human, like genuinely anti-human. And I do have a few facts and notes to back up my point. And so I personally believe like one of the main sayings where this I don't owe anyone anything might have come from is the Bible, because we do actually have in the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 8, which says, owe no man anything, right? You'd think, oh, it's in the Bible. And I think a lot of popular euphemisms or sayings do come from the Bible and other traditions too. But the ones from the Bible are often either shortened, misconstrued, taken out of context. You don't get the full picture. So someone probably heard someone saying it and they didn't hear the rest of it because it says, "Oh, no man, anything but love." And the Bible makes it clear that love is not a feeling, it's an action, it's a verb, it's something you do. You exhibit kindness in love. You don't exhibit boastfulness when you're acting out of love. That's another thing. You are slow to anger when you're exhibiting love. You are forgiving, you are patient, you are hopeful. That's what it means to love. And there's more. It's in, what is it? 1 Corinthians 13. That's where we get what it means to actually be love and act out of love. And so you owe people kindness because we're all made in the image of love. Like that's what it really means to be a human. And so when we see people that are doing the antithesis of that, it's like a shock to the core. I don't think you need to explain to someone under the age of 5 that harming someone or, like, I don't know if I can say it, like unaliving someone is wrong. I think anyone at any age would see that and would experience horror. No one would have to tell them. I mean, unless they didn't realize, of course, that the person was unconscious now after the fact. But if they're at the age where they can recognize the difference between consciousness and unconsciousness, I mean, literally, death and life. If someone witnessed the act of someone being unalived and no one had told them like that was wrong, they would know it's wrong because inherently we know what is right and wrong. And yeah, like I said, we are made in the image of love. So as a human, all we owe to each other is love. That means we do have a duty to one another. And outside of spiritual texts, because that's my spiritual belief, of course, there are other spiritual beliefs that exist. We also have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So this is a document, and it's actually the most translated document in the world, apparently. I just found out on my research. And it was created by the UN, which was an international body that was formed specifically after the atrocities of World War II. And so that is also what led to the creation of the UN itself, United Nations. And in the UN, we have these universal laws that are stated that say, we owe each other things such as freedom of speech, and we owe each other, um, what is it? Respect and dignity in the sense that we won't discriminate towards one another. And obviously, there are a host of other universal human rights, such as the fact that a child has just as much as worthiness to having rights as an adult. Yeah, and yeah, much more. But again, these are human rights, meaning no matter what, you deserve to have and experience these rights. And so when you say, as an artist, I don't owe my fans anything, well, actually, you do. You actually do. And unfortunately, for artists like these, the laws that govern the relationship between artists and fans, and let me take it out of the artist context, like between a creator and their followers, or creator and their supporters, whichever way you want to word it, they're largely unseen and unwritten. But the bylaws still exist at the end of the day. And if you just say or remind yourself of the fact that they are underpinned by human laws, then it kind of just makes it easier. Like, just be kind, be respectful. And another good thing about acting out of love is that first you have to act out of love to yourself, then you act out of love to others. And so that's why I said it was quite important. Probably the mind frame that Doja Cat was in at that time, she wasn't experiencing love for herself. She was feeling overworked, stressed out, feeling forced to do things. Like, love has nothing to do with force at the end of the day. So that's why it was also probably hard for her to exhibit love to a stranger online who's asking for some love. And so, in refusing to show love to that fan, and breaking the invisible contract, like the human universal rights of a fan of an artist contract, she now initiated a war essentially. Because if you remember, the UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, was specifically created after the whole world experienced the atrocities of World War Two, right? And they said we can never have this again. So that's what happens when you violate like these human right laws, that there's a war. So now, in a microcosm of that, when you violate the human rights laws of creator and fan or artist and supporter, there is now a war, or there is a rift, depending on how big or small, but it's pretty much like a war between you and your supporters. And so her fans were conflicted because, one, luckily for her, in her case, like a bit of economics was on her side. There was scarcity of mainstream actual good artists, you know? Let's say if this was the early 2000s, she would have been cancelled straight away. Because even as a fan of hers, like in the past myself, I did feel conflicted. Like, oh my gosh, but she's such a good performer. You know, she can sing, she makes good music, she can dance, she has it all. Am I really gonna stop listening to her? Because I did feel like, well, I don't really want to listen to someone like who I didn't even feel like she needs to love me, but just the fact that you said that is like, raw, do you hate me then? Like, where do we fall? Like, where do we go from here? So, yeah, you've created a wall, you've created a rift between you and your fans, and they can no longer connect with you because you've made it painstakingly obvious. I don't want you to connect with me. I just want you to consume me. And yeah, it's just even saying that, I'm like, why would an artist want that? Unless she now is in a position where she literally just sees herself as a product. This is my job. Just consume me, but don't engage with me. Don't love me. Don't know me. But that just goes against anything to do with the stigma of being an artist, good or bad. So in her case, I definitely would say that, I don't think she gets as much. I mean, maybe it's because I disengage from her, actually. I'm not even going to say that she doesn't get as much buzz or fanfare because I know she still continued to get like Grammy appearances and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't look at her the same anymore. I don't think she gets talked about as much as she did before that incident. But I do have that skewed bias where I did stop paying attention to her a bit once she, came out with that. And then she had a few more controversies that I don't even want to get into, to be honest. But it's just very interesting to see how quickly, like, you could be at the height of something and then you could very much fall. So that's why it's very important to just be careful about, you know, being opinionated, essentially, especially if your life kind of depends on people liking you and feeling like they have some kind of connection with you. Same for No Name. And that's just prophecy in itself. Her name. She has no name. Like, as in, she has no brand. I do not hear about her anymore at all. Bless her heart, bless her soul. She might be doing well. But I mean, I listen to hip hop. I like J. Cole. It's not like I don't like conscious rappers. Like, J. Cole is literally one of my favorite rappers. I don't hear about No Name. So yeah, I think that was a foot in the neck. Oh, I don't know if I've said it correctly. I don't know all euphemisms, but yeah, just if you're an introvert, you're so used to always being in your own world and your own thoughts. That doesn't necessarily mean that you now need to share every single thought with, your audience if you decide to become a creator. Luckily for Daniel Caesar, he did a very smart thing because his last album before this controversy was in 2017, and then the controversy happened in 2019. And I'm not saying he probably didn't have features and make music after that, but he didn't make another album until 2025. Okay, that's 6 years basically post controversy. And you know what's funny? I mean, Lord forgive me, I'm working on this. I hold grudges. And you know what it is? I think it's because I have a really good memory. So I've definitely gotten better with like not holding grudges with people in real life. And it makes it easier because we actually have a personal relationship. So I can look back on all the good that the person has done for me. But when it comes to a creator or an artist, um, I only know you loosely. So I hold a general perception of you. And then once you shatter it, I remember that I don't know you that well. But what I do know well is that you've annoyed me. You really angered my soul. And so I again was one of those people when he said that statement about, oh, go ahead, cancel me. Don't don't push me to push the button because I'll push it. All right, okay. So yeah, I cancelled him, and I really did love him. So when he now came back out with his new album in 2025, it's not that the resentment and anger or anything was still there, but I didn't listen to it. And everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this album is so good," and you see why he was so smart. And it's quite fitting that we've been speaking about God a lot actually in this video. He came back basically with like a quasi gospel album. I say quasi gospel because I don't think it was like full on gospel. What's it called again? Sons of Spurgy? Daniel Caesar album. Yeah, Son of Spurgy. And there's even a cross on the album, okay? So yeah, quasi gospel because I don't know if it's full on outright gospel, but has those like gospel soulful elements. I think he also did do a feature with Coffee, the artist. This was before the album dropped. Uh, oh no, yeah, so that was 2019 or 20. Was it 2019 or 2020? I believe it's 2019, but I remember that was the first thing he did actually. So yeah, he definitely didn't stop making music straight away. But if you noticed, he went to like a reggae gospel artist to do a feature. Because you know what he probably realized? I've initiated a war with my fan base. They are now on the spectrum of hating me. I need to bring back love. What is love? God is love. Oh, let me collab with a Christian artist. And another thing, another thing, I see a lot of people making videos like I don't know how to say it without being derogatory. I don't know, like let me just say in the light say the influencer to Christian influencer pipeline where it's like after a controversy, oh now I'm a Christian. And I'm not saying people can't be converted. Okay? I'm not saying they can't have their moment where they realize, okay, this is my come to Jesus moment, literally. But it is very interesting. It's a bit of a pattern that people, celebrities will get caught up. And sometimes, when they come to Christ or come to God, whichever religion, or go to Buddha after a controversy like Will Smith post slap, he went to India, I believe. So yeah, there's always that coming back to God because God is supposed to represent love. And so they're trying to let their fans know, hey, I don't want war anymore. I want peace. Look, there's no hate between us. Look, I'm aligning myself with love. I'm aligning myself with God. And so, yeah, that's exactly what Daniel Caesar did. And it didn't pay off straight away when he did his remix with Coffee. But what, 6, 7 years later, when he dropped that Son of Spurgy album, at least for those who listened to it, they were like, oh, this is a masterpiece. And it probably is. Maybe I'll listen to it one day, who knows. But it just goes to show as an artist, align yourself with love because people already have the belief that you are doing this because you love this. And so when you go against that, it makes your fan base become disillusioned. And so what that means for you as a creator and artist, now, if you are a financial influencer, because maybe you are and you've landed on my page, again, it's a little bit different. It's still like obviously if you're still an influencer of some sort, people do expect that you're doing this because you're passionate. But at the same time, it's not as directly compatible as people that are literally in the arts, like where the connotation for your career field is that you do this out of love. Like that means you love doing it. You love the people that support you. Um, but yeah, just remember that there are some caveats to what I'm saying. But yeah, just make sure that you are aware of the perception that people have of you. That's what it means to like be cognizant of what your personal brand stands for. Aside from obviously making money as well, like you also need to know and care about what people think about you, not to the point where you diminish yourself. Like that's why your personal brand should be built on authenticity to start with, but it pays to know what people think about your brand. Um, and at the same time, what you need to do on the back end to support yourself is make sure you have measures and boundaries in place. Did I say this clearly? I think when I was mentioning how, yeah, the importance of like loving yourself before you can love others, it comes into play because part of loving yourself and being kind to yourself is having boundaries. Like if you know for sure, like I knew today, I was supposed to go to some networking event, but I said, you know what? I actually don't want to go. And when I did more research on it, I was like, I mean, I might meet some influential people, but it's not directly in my field. And I genuinely don't want to go. I'm happier to be at home and create a video where I feel like that has more of a direct impact on the result I'm looking for in my life at the moment. So I chose not to go. And yeah, then I got the energy to do the video because I'd been doing some more work before in the morning. So yeah, having strict boundaries, trying your best, at least if you are independent, to only do work that you genuinely feel like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm going to be doing, because then it will show, it will translate into the effort you put into the piece of work that you're creating. What else was I going to say? Take care of yourself outside of your work. That's also you showing love to yourself. Burnout is the antithesis of creativity, okay? So you don't want to reach that point. And remember, not every single opinion needs to be spoken out there. Keep some things for your diary, keep some things for your journal. That might just be another video in and of itself. Like the oversharing and treating your actual social platforms that aren't just limited to close friends and family as your public diary. Like, bring back shame, bring it back. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, let me know, what did you learn, whether it was about branding or about love or God. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And as usual, if you need any help with figuring out a clear branding strategy that suits your unique taste, skills, expertise, I'm your girl. If not, maybe refer someone to me. Be a good patron, be a good friend, be a good sister or brother. And yeah, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. And say it with me. Let's bring back shame. Bring back shame.